Hi girls, super important video about how you'll take the 2020 exam. I'll walk you through most of what you need to know. We can still talk about it some more next week, and I'll go over pertinent information as that comes out to me. This is not my writing right here. Good afternoon, everyone. But I wanted to bring this up to you in light of the mock exams that we've been doing for getting ready for the two question free responses, because I just wanted to settle your mind that they are difficult. I've copied and pasted comments from other AP Calculus teachers on the group that I'm a member of. So, good afternoon, everyone. This is from another teacher. This is not from me. I've been giving my students a mock exams posted here. Thanks for the great resources. I'm wondering how your students are doing on these. I have a couple of top students who are struggling on these mocks to the point where my best student just sent me a message. He's debating on taking the exam at this point. I told him to keep working and do his best, and he will be fine. Anyone else hearing this from students? And there were comment after comment that I copied and pasted just to make you feel better. These mock exams seem really difficult to me. I haven't been sharing them with my students for this reason. So, I don't hold back on difficult things with you, girls, but there's some teachers that even made the decision not to give them because they were so hard. I did them with my kids, but definitely as went over it, explained that they are on the upper end of difficulty and that it is best to practice hard so the test day seems easy by comparison. So that's my goal, that you just clock through your two free responses and that you find it easier than what we're practicing. Next comment, these are definitely harder for my kids than the AP FRQs from past exams. My kids took them and many freaked out, but when I pointed out how much easier it made the FRQs for them, that made them feel better. And when I showed them they only need 40 to 50, 45% of the points to get a 4, that really helped them with perspective. So once again, you're going for as many points as you can get. Another teacher, yes, mock exams were tougher than I expected the actual exam to be. And then another teacher, taking these mock exams will set them up for that feeling you get when you lift a large container that you expected to be full, but is only half full. So much easier. So we're doing all the heavy lifting now, girls. Another teacher said, since given the mock exam, I have fielded a solid 10 panic emails in the last 24 hours. Another teacher, I agree they are tough. I've been given them, but with a chat beforehand about changing expectations. So I didn't want to tell you beforehand, but I did at least mention that I found them difficult. So don't be scared. All of these veteran AP teachers and readers see them also as difficult. And so just hang in there. And the review, many of you have told me, is worth it, or after me going over it, it's great review. All right, now to the exam. You have some options that we'll go over in just a minute, but most of you will want to submit written work, like handwritten work, and it has to be done as a .png, JPEG, JPG, or JPEG. You've got to know how to do that on your iPhone, which I'll provide you a link to after this is over. But right now, most of your iPhone pictures are set on that HEIC, where it's a live photo, and that won't give you a JPEG. They won't accept that other form, and I'll show you. I'll sort of give you a practice one. Do not hit the refresh or back button while you're in the test. A couple of times I've had to in doing my practice ones, and I'll show you how to practice, and it just takes you back to the beginning. You don't want that to happen. If you have Grammarly, you got to disable it. It won't work. Your real exam, the exam day will not work if that attachment, if that add-on is there. So disable Grammarly. Again, do not hit the refresh or back button when you're taking the exam. Come with the study guide printed out under topics and the series chart. So let's go to that real quickly. So in your classes, topics, I would print these two things out. Underline, highlight beforehand if you want to, but oh, you don't want the live manners practice unless you just want to. You also don't want summer work solution, sorry. All right, so what I'm talking about right now is the study guide for the exam is phenomenal. It takes you through A, B, and BC. everything you need to know in the way that I taught it. I would print that out. And also you might want to print out the test for convergence so it's handy and ready. We are only responsible for nth term, geometric, p-series, alternating, and ratio. Those are the ones we need to know. Nth term, geometric, p-series, alternating, and ratio, in which we'll practice some more of those because I know you probably feel like you need it. Okay, so I would have those printed out. Make sure that you also have your calculator ready with batteries or charge. Important, practice this demo many times before test day, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. Read the testing guide. It has valuable information. You'll be glad you did. Girls, again, you are ready. So just stay the course for the next few days and you'll do great. And you'll be so proud of yourself. Here's the testing guide. We'll look at it a bit together. And you have access to it. I'll send you these links. So it will go through. Okay, you will get an AP exam e-ticket. You'll receive your e-ticket, just like if you were flying on an airplane or something, 2 days before each test. On exam day, you'll need this e-ticket to check into your exam. You'll get a unique ticket for each exam. If you can't find your ticket by email, you can access your e-ticket on your My AP account, and you'll have access to this document. So I'm not going to read it all to you, but I do think it helps to hear it in my voice. Each e-ticket is personalized for you and isn't transferable. Don't share your e-ticket with anyone. Let's see. Make sure you save your May e-ticket in case you need to request a makeup exam. If you get sick the day of the test, if something goes wrong with your technology and things like that, you can request a makeup, but you want to keep your, this is a sample of it, you want to keep your e-ticket. Your e-ticket would be valid for the May exam schedule. So our May date is Tuesday, May 12th, Calculus BC. We'll start at Eastern time. We're lucky to start at 2 o'clock so that we're not starting at some weird time of day. Unless there's a significant conflict, students should test in May. So we're all geared up for the May 12th test, and we're ready for it. You were so ready. If you cannot test on one of these dates, please talk to me about that ahead of time. And Ms. Blumberg, don't use your e-ticket for that exam. You'll automatically receive a different e-ticket for makeup testing in June. And you're welcome to ask me about this. We can set up a Zoom meeting or email. Reminder, if you have a conflict in May, don't use your May e-ticket. You'll also be able to request an e-ticket for June makeup days if you have a disruption during your May exam. So what that means that we'll look at is if something happens the day you're taking the exam, mostly technology-wise, you can request a makeup June ticket. So you can ask me about all of this. Most of it won't apply to anybody, maybe not to anybody. You'll all take, I'm planning you all to take the May 12th exam. Each student's exam will be taken simultaneously worldwide. And you're starting Eastern time, like there's New York, is starting at 2 p.m. Your art and design teachers, computer science teachers should go over different details with you, but that's what our details are. It won't be more difficult to earn a 3, 4, or 5 this year. Even if the exam question seems more difficult than you expected, which girls, yours will not be more difficult than you expected, probably be easier than what you expected. Don't worry, difficult questions require fewer points to earn 3s, 4s, and 5s. So just do what I've always told you, go in and answer all the questions and be confident. Don't worry if you don't complete all parts of the question before you need to attach and submit your response. To give students as many chances to demonstrate what they know as possible, a question may have more parts than can be answered in the allowed time. You don't need to complete the entire question to get a score of 5. Let me read that again. You don't need to complete the entire question to get a score of 5, but you do need to submit whatever work you've done. So don't delay your submission during that 5-minute window, make sure you get all that you feel good about submitted. Over here, I say this a lot. You're proving that you're a resilient problem solver. Remember, if you see part of a question that feels unfamiliar to you, stick with it. So stay calm, look for ways to apply what you know. Amen. What to expect on this year's exam. Let's see, I'm not going to read the whole slide to you. I'll get your not just your score, but your exam responses. And I have been invited to grade the exams just today. I got my invitation, so I will be an AP reader for the exams this year in the middle of June. Let's see. So here's a big deal. There's 3 ways that you can get your responses, submit your responses. If you're on a laptop, which by the way I highly suggest, you can copy and paste a typed response. You can attach a typed response, or you can add 1 or more photos of a handwritten response. I foresee a lot of you will have your laptop open so you can have a good view of the questions, but you'll be writing on a sheet of paper, and I'll talk about those sheets of paper, and you'll attach 1 or more photos of the handwritten response, up to 5. It cannot be a PDF, that attachment of a photo of your handwritten. It cannot be a PDF, and it cannot be that live HEIC attachment. It's got to be a JPEG. So one option is to open the exam on your laptop and shrink the window a bit, and then open up a Word doc or whatever you want to type in. Type your response in Google Doc, Word Notes, or a similar application. Do not include images. There's no need for graphing this year. Save your work often. This is super important. Type your AP ID and initials at the top of the response. You can prepare all of that ahead of time. You can open up your document today and put in your AP ID and initials at the top of about 10 pages in an online document that you're going to want to type your responses in. When the timer has 5 minutes remaining, copy and paste your response into the space indicated and click Submit. So you want to use Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or Edge. It doesn't work well with, I can't remember which one they said. Oh, with Internet Explorer. And there'll be a timer at the bottom. I'll show you all of this. So what you can do is read your exam here, type up your answers here. It doesn't have to be fancy math type, but those are things we need to decide ahead of time while you're doing your demo practices of which of the 3 things you want to do. If you want to do this one where you're typing up your answer on your computer, there are ways that we can look ahead to get math type, to get certain symbols in. But you can write out words like the integral of. That's why I think most of you are probably going to do handwritten, which we'll get to. But you can type, and there's all sorts of great keyboards that I can give you access to, and I'll be doing that on an individual basis. Option 2, type your response, save your work doc, awesome, and then you can save your document as a doc, PDF, or text file, and then you can submit, you can upload it. Again, type your AP ID and initials at the top of your response. When it has 5 minutes remaining, you need to start attaching in case something happens. And teachers all over the world right now have been practicing. You don't want to do it the day of the exam. You want to make sure that you are practicing in the ways I'm going to show you in just a minute. Your exam will have 2 questions, so you want to create, save, attach, and submit 2 separate documents, 1 for each question. That goes without saying. So they suggest for this also side-by-side windows. You'd probably do that anyway, where you can get your document and what you're typing in side by side. Option 3 is what I think most of you will do, and we need to talk about this. This is important. Have some lined or blank paper. It can be white printer paper, 8.5 by 11, or lined. Write your APID initials and page number at the top of each page. Again, you can do that today, sometime before the exam, and when you're practicing even. Get in the habit, even when you're doing homework for me, write your APID initials and page number at the top of each page. You can be looking at it on your laptop. You can be looking at the questions on your laptop, and then write your response clearly in dark pen or pencil, only black and blue pen. When the timer is 5 minutes remaining, you'll start taking photos with your phone. You have to do vertical, which most of you do anyway. Do not do horizontal or landscape. It has to be vertical, and it's got to be a JPEG, which you probably need with your Android or your iPhone to change in settings. This is so important. 1 page per photo. So again, you can't make it a PDF anyway. If your response is longer than 1 page, you'll need to attach multiple photos, a maximum of 5 photos per test question. So before the day of the test, you might want to get out. You can only have at the most 10 submitted photos, but you might want to have extra sheets of paper with your APID, your initials and page numbers. Well, you can put the page number as you go, or go ahead and number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then have some extras with your AP, ID, and initials in case you, for some reason, want to start something over. Of course, you're always welcome just to scratch it out and start it over. Only acceptable formats are right here. Okay, big deal. I've spent hours and hours reading literally hundreds and hundreds of comments where teachers are distressed that their students can't just scan it with your Genius Scan or your app into a PDF and submit it that way. But it has something to do with test security and plagiarism, as far as I can tell, what the software can detect. And so if you're doing this route, if you're writing on a piece of paper, it has got to be submitted as a JPEG. It's been a big deal for a few days now since they announced that, but we're not going to fight it. We're just going to do it. So let's say we don't need music theory or world language exams. I only am aware of 1 or 2 people that have extra time, and that should automatically be built into your timer. Extended time will be, students with approved accommodation don't need to submit any further requests. Extended time will be provided through the online exam. Again, if you're one of those people you want to, I don't even know if it can be changed at this point, but I assume it will work fine that day, but you may want to touch base with Mr. Yang or Ms. Blumberg on that. And so let's don't worry about these slides right now. The exam screen will guide students step by step on eDay from the moment they click their e-ticket. Most students will be able to navigate the test using only the information on the preceding slides. Unexpected events may occur while testing at home, and some students will benefit from additional preparation and technology checks. You will definitely want to do that with the demo. Let's see, 5 steps to take before exam day. I'm not a big fan of these little line charts here, but it's important. Review your contact information. If you're not receiving emails, log into My AP. Make sure your devices are all ready to go the way that you want them. Practice submitting your response. This is the biggest one right now. We've reviewed so much. You're really pretty ready. You're very ready, very, very ready. We've made it harder and deeper than you'll face on test day. But the demo is really already available. We don't have to wait till May 4th. So I'll show you that today. Gather what you need. There is a link here that I'll also provide you for exam day docs. And then receive your exam confirmation to e-ticket emails. And so let's see, what does that say? You'll get emails with your APID and your exam e-ticket. And you can also find that in your account, your My AP account. So you're reviewing your contact information. Again, I'll send you this link with all these other links in it. And I think your contact information is probably fine. Choose your device. I suggest a laptop with a phone, but don't strongly suggest it. You can have your laptop here, and if you're comfortable with typing up your responses, you just want to make sure you practice. This year's questions won't require to submit graphs or diagrams. Obviously in our courses, calculus, chemistry, and stat, you may be more comfortable handwriting your responses, which is what I suggest. Have to be PDF. Don't include any photos, just a picture of your work. So just make sure you know what you want to do with typing and keyboard. If you're taking that, I can work with that individually with you. So use white paper, lined or unlined, standard size, number 2 pencil, or a pen with black or blue ink. The maximum number of pages you can attach per question is 5. So this also covers if you're not getting a lot of information from your other AP teachers. At most you'll need 5 pages for AP English because they only have one. AP English and AP History only have 1 question. We have 2 questions, so you'll need 10 pages. It's highly unlikely you'll need to use this many pages. Most are covered fully in just 1 to 2 pages, just like you do for me, where you can go 1A, B, C, D, and then you need another page for E, F. Don't write on the back, write on the front of each page, and then just on one side of each page, and then take a picture and submit however many up to 5. So you don't have to squish it in. You can always answer 1 free response for me within 5 pages. But you can have more than 1 component on that page, like 1 A, B, C, and then the second page can be D, E, F, or whatever. Up to 5 pages in question 1, numbered 1 to 5. And then when you're on question 2, put the little numbers at the top, again, starting at 1 to 5. And you'll attach them. Let's see, practice submitting responses with the demo. We're about to do that. The required docs are here. If you don't have a printer, I don't think you're going to need to print anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with printing the questions. If you want to use them for scratch paper or something, I don't think there's a prohibition that you're prohibited from printing, but don't write your responses on those pages. They don't want any images on those pages except for your handwriting. So do not fill them out with the writing already on there. You're writing just from the beginning with no questions, no graphs or anything. So you're not expected or wanted to print out the test and write on it. Do not do that. So you can look at the test the entire time on your laptop while you're working. If you need if you're going to type your responses, there's a keyboarding tip sheet that is, I think, is provided in here according to the asterisk. But if there's not, I can help you with the keyboarding. So this really covers through all your courses if you want to look at this. Okay. So this is what you can use on exam day: class notes or study guides, textbooks and other classroom resources, previous assignments or assessments, calculators for certain exams. Let's see. You can open your notes on your device, but I'd have them printed out there where you can shuffle through them. Internet searches will waste your time, big time, and put you at risk of an exam violation. The more time you spend searching the web, the less time you spend entering exam questions. Honestly, girls, if I were you, I'd just pretend like my computer's locked down and just work the free response problems. Certainly don't go searching for anything till you've answered everything you can easily and with the study guide. It's just, and if you copy and paste, you're done. It'd be cheating. Your scores will be canceled. So don't try to communicate with anybody. Just pretend like that it's a test in my room, please. You're ready. So look for your exam confirmation and e-ticket emails. So hopefully you'll receive an exam confirmation on May 4th with your Apple ID. In the meantime, you can go to My AP. You don't even need it for the demo, though. I'll show you that. Complete the exam day test list. I think you'll be fine for that. Mostly what you need for My Exam is a computer. If you're using a phone for pictures, blank paper, and a powered up calculator. So this is super duper important. 30 minutes before your local time, 30 minutes before, almost like you're going to take a trip at the airport, get there early. You don't want to get there a few minutes before the test starts because you're going to be timed from the moment they say the test starts in the world. The clock will start ticking and you want to be ready. So get there 30 minutes early and check in. Use your e-ticket to check in, complete the identity information, wait for the exam to begin automatically for the whole world, okay? So you'll have 25 minutes for the first question, and then you'll have 5 minutes to present your response, submit. Then you have 15 minutes for question 2, and then 5 minutes to submit, which I think you definitely know by now. I'll try to keep you up to date as much as I can. All right, this is important. Your testing environment. Do your best to test by yourself in a quiet room. Remove distractions. Enable the do not disturb or quiet setting on your device. Let your parents, guardians, siblings, and friends know when you'll be tested so they won't disturb you. Say, I'm going to be in here for about an hour. Try to be quiet. Don't disturb me. Don't distract me. Make sure your device is plugged in. If you have limited bandwidth, that's even happened among my family members or in the building of people that I know. Sometimes when you have an important meeting, you can ask others in your network to limit their use of the internet during your exam. So you may want to ask your family members not to be streaming things. If they can wait and watch Netflix, that would be good. Exam security. You may not incorporate any work that is not your own. You may not provide or receive aid of any kind from anyone. So I'm not expecting y'all to do any of that, but you can read over exam security. They have some extremely sophisticated plagiarism and cheating software in place. So they're good to go. They're ready to go there. All right, you'll check into your exam again 30 minutes before. Be sitting there ready to go. So the timer will show how much time. I'll show you that. You should not refresh your browser. It's so tempting. It's just such a part of my life. No matter what, do not refresh your browser and do not go back. Do not go back. The first question will automatically appear, and do not do anything after that. Answering the exam questions. You may use spell check and grammar check, but nobody's going to care if you spell L'Hôpital's wrong. But if you, I don't even know if spell check would catch that. But anyway, if you've installed a Grammarly plugin, disable it or the exam won't function. Grammarly's like an awesome plugin, and you might have it. So disable it for now, or a couple of days before test day. You may print the test questions and annotate them if you like, but you can't use annotation software to annotate online. And so this is like an example of somebody that's handwritten theirs. So you can print them off, the test questions, but don't write them. I mean, you can do scratch work on the test questions, but that's not what you would submit. You would submit something like this. And I'm sorry they want a picture. You're going to have to practice beforehand, make sure you have good light, and then it can be clearly seen, because you cannot submit a PDF. Cannot. So managing your time, you'll see a timer at the bottom of the screen showing you how much time remains. And by the way, if you want to, if you feel like you're good at it, you can take the whole thing on your phone or on a tablet. I'm afraid the exam's going to be really hard to read on your phone, but that is an option. I suggest your laptop with the phone for pictures. You'll have this countdown. 5 minutes before time is up, the timer turns red. You'll see a pop-up reminding you to submit your response. Stop where you are and copy and paste and attach all the work you have to this point. Then click submit. You can still earn a 5 even if you don't finish a response. If you don't submit your response on time, you won't get any credit for it. So if you're trying to crunch something in, which I'd be tempted to do, you want to stop and start submitting your work and get ready for question 2. Let's see. And when I say write, we'll go over this also in this little prep session. You know me, write something down on every question. Given this timing thing, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more real quickly. I do want you to write something down for every question, but not at first. Go through and answer the ones you can easily. You'll hear me go over the mock exam, and I'll talk about, wow, I'm so glad I got to the D part, because that was so crazy easy. So you want to go on through and answer all the ones you can easily, and then if you have some time left, go back to the ones you haven't answered and write something down. They're not going to count off for writing anything down, and you might get some credit for saying this is continuous and it's 0 at x equals 7 and 14, because you see that. Maybe you don't know what to do with it after that, but you're trying to accrue points. Let's see. So you can, submitting responses is a two-step process. We'll do this together. You can attach a file or attach photos. You're going to need to pick and practice. I'd say practice. I wish you practice every day. It takes, I don't know, a few minutes to do. I usually am doing something else when I've been practicing. All the teachers I've talked to have been practicing. If you don't click submit before the timer runs out, your response will not count. Once you click submit, your response will continue to transfer depending on your bandwidth, and this is fine. You will be able to move on to the next question even while your first question continues to transfer, as long as you've clicked the submit button. If your response continues to transfer after the exam ends, wait for an unscreened message confirming your exam is complete. I do this even when I'm doing an online payment, or I'm doing your recs for college. I wait and make sure that it's confirmed that it's submitted. Let's see. If you never see your exam is complete, you should go to this request makeup, which I hope that doesn't happen, because I think you're going to do really well the first time. What could go wrong while I'm testing? You could accidentally close the browser, your device crashes, you lose internet access. You can quickly click your exam e-ticket again to return to the exam. But if you feel like that, oh, sorry, I need to refill my thing. Okay, if you feel like that anything has gone wrong, you might want to try to finish, but you can still request a makeup. All right, again, don't refresh your browser or hit the back arrow. It's so tempting. I actually did it a couple of times in my first practice, thinking that something was gone wrong. Don't do it, no matter what. Don't call customer service centers. Won't be open due to the pandemic. So we'll do it all with this request makeup thing, which I hope we don't have to do. This is really important. Let's see, so, I'll be doing the reading this year with other readers. There's a free send, and I have that on another slide for you. These are some colleges that have, they just took a selection from BC, from Marquette, George Washington University. I think Vandy's one of these, Wheaton, Virginia Tech, Vandy's right here, UConn, the University of California System, Purdue. You can look through here what they're saying about they are accepting scores. They are accepting scores. They are accepting scores. So you can read these little quotes that they wisely put in here to keep your incentive going. Let's see. So that was that. All right, let me go back to my Word doc. And we're going to practice the demo in a minute. We just did the testing guide. Short videos from the College Board about test day. I'll leave you to click on those